Hi, this is Joseph Williams, son of John Williams, and you are watching the Nerf Herder Council.
What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. I am your host, JT. We are live on the Facebook and YouTube pages of both the Nerf Herder Council and the Virtual Cantina Network. You can find us every other Wednesday at those locations at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Of course, as always, we are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download. If you are watching on either of the YouTube channels, please don't forget to click that like button and click that subscribe button and smash that notification bell so that you are notified every time we go live. If you would like to get customizable Nerf Herder Council swag, just go to shop.nerfherdercouncil.com. And if you would like to score yourself some beautiful Virtual Cantina Network swag, just go to tpublic.com/user/virtual-cantina. Without further ado, let me bring on the Itchy to my Chewbacca, the Lumpy to my Mala, however you want to phrase it. My brother, my co-host AJ. How's it going, man?
It's going all right, man. How you doing?
Doing pretty good.
I don't know if I really appreciate those comparisons, but we're gonna have to get into it at some point, aren't we?
Well, there's a lot of Wookiees in this. A lot of Wookiees in this episode, you know. So figured I'd just get it right, get it out of the way right off the bat. So
yeah. We're gonna get our on. So
yeah, should we not like have any actual like talking for the next like 15 minutes and just mimic what they did in the holiday special?
Right.
Just do the show that way.
Oh God.
So our good buddy Discuss Metal Joe's tuning in. Good to see you, man. He says, time to work on that Whale Hunter in Space game. I call it JT's Quest. Good to see you, man. Kale McLeish, always good to see you, bro. He says, hey, lads, keen to hear your thoughts on this. I haven't found it available in Australia at all yet. That would be YouTube, Kale. That is where I found it. There's actually a really good copy of it. There's kind of a shitty copy. Mimar, always good to see you. She says, need a scabbed copy sent to you? We might at some point. So, ooh. I don't know. But owning this thing is basically, I mean, let's just be honest. If you own it or you want to own it, you are definitely a completist. It's one of those badges of honor where you say, hey, I own it. And a lot of the rest of the fan base comes back with, well, don't come to me with your problems.
Yeah.
So, so we're going to be discussing a new documentary here tonight that was actually released in theaters, I believe, a week ago, because I know that Spencer actually saw it where he's at over in Boston. But we rented it on Amazon after the views of the Nerf Herder Council don't necessarily represent those of the Virtual Cantina Network, and there might be bad words, and here comes one. Yeah, we rented it on Amazon after dicking around with fucking Apple TV for a good 20 minutes. And
God,
screw Apple stuff, man. What an ass ache. They've got to make everything a chore. And so we don't screw this. When I looked for it on Amazon on Monday, it was there for purchase in physical copy, but it was not there to rent from Prime. Well, it was there for on Prime yesterday. So we said, F you, Apple, and we went with Amazon Prime. So there we go. Yeah.
Well, in a sheer act of defiance, I actually did watch it on Apple TV Plus, but that's because actually
did you really?
Well, I actually have an iPad, so I was able to just AirPlay to my TV and it worked. But even that was such a nightmare to set up, dude. Like I don't understand why people love these things so much,
dude.
You know, I dipped my toe as far in the water as I could. Like I went and I got the MacBook. So I was like, you know what? I've worked on this thing for years for work. I'll do that. And then I'll see what the iPad's like. And if the iPad's good, then I'll go iPhone. I'll have like all the Apple things. The iPad has been such garbage to use. There's no way in hell I'm ever getting an iPhone. No way in hell.
Yeah, I have purposely resisted and Apple TV did not, sway me in any way from, coming off of my I'm not ever buying an Apple product stance. So, So we're going to be talking about this new documentary. Again, I watched it on Amazon. AJ watched it on Apple. But it's very interesting. And Spencer, like I say, is a big fan. Mimar, iPad, I quit. Yes, exactly.
It's a new killer app.
Yep. But yeah, so we're gonna talk about that tonight. We figure, it's finally December. We're in the throes of the holiday season. So what better topic than the Star Wars holiday special? To begin with, AJ, we'll start it out here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you had already seen the holiday special, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I had not.
Time ago, but yes.
Okay. I had not. I had seen the little bits and pieces that were in like other documentaries. I had never actually sat down and watched it.
Mm-hmm.
And
have you done that now?
I have. And holy mother of God, is that a pain in the ass?
Yeah. Now you see why I was trying to get you to lose a bet for all these years, because I figured that was the only way we would ever get you to sit down and watch the thing, because it's absolute trash. Oh my God, is it bad?
I'm going through a pretty major pressure headache right now. Like my eyeballs have felt like they've been busting out of my face all day long. Took some Aleve, didn't do anything to it, but I think it might not be a pressure headache. I think it's like, when you first work out after the first time in a long time and you get all sore like the next couple days.
Mm-hmm.
I think my eyes are just sore from doing the most egregious eye rolls you've ever seen for most of the runtime of that thing. I mean, I literally caught myself doing it, like just going, oh God. And I was literally sitting there going, okay, you have to make it through this. Forcing myself.
Dude, it's so bad that even the clips that they showed during the documentary lasted too long for my taste. Like,
yeah,
I have like PTSD or something. Like, I see a clip of any of that stuff, and I'm like, oh God, I remember when that was like 5 minutes long.
Yeah. Well, I mean, first of all, they talk about it in the documentary, which I think everybody who's seen it is aware of this, and it's right off the bat. You've got about like 10 minutes of the show with nothing but the Wookiees. Okay, no big deal. Although, I mean, the names, good God Almighty! All you need to know is the names of Chewbacca's family, 2 of them anyway, and you'll know how much time and effort went into this thing. When his wife Mala, okay, all right, Chewbacca, Mala, okay. Then you've got his father-in-law, Itchy,
yeah,
and then you've got his son, Lumpy. Now, the least they could have done, AJ, at least have it be like 2 or 3 Y's at the end of each of those. Make it
English.
Yeah, like what the crap is that?
Like, how do the Wookiees name their kids? STD symptoms. That's how they name them.
So, the Chewbacca's daughter was off at college. They didn't show her on camera. That was Rashy.
And then the baby, Discharge.
we just nailed it. The whole damn family. Chewbacca, Mala, Itchy, Lumpy, Rashy, and Discharge.
See,
oh my God.
It's a good thing this didn't come out in like modern times, because those would still be the names. It would just be sponsored by a pharmaceutical company.
It would be. That's fantastic. Oh my gosh. So anyway, yeah, so we get all the Wookiees, but then they're speaking Wookiee without any friggin'
right,
like without any subtitles. They're just like barking at each other. You're like, what in the hell are they saying?
And they said in the special, in the documentary, that the TV executives at the time thought that subtitles wouldn't work on TV. Yeah, because that's what we want to hear instead, is a bunch of nonsensical Wookiee growls for.
Yeah.
I think they timed it. It was like over 9 minutes. It was like 9 minutes and 10 seconds or something crazy like that.
Oh. See,
which felt like way more than that even.
See, I don't know about you. We'll get to the porn part of this. But even in my first viewing, and yes, I did kind of go back and review parts of it. Even in my first viewing, I just pictured Mala, like when she's like making noise at Itchy, like one of the things she's saying is, and don't be jerking off in the living room again. like I just, it's just so bad. And I don't know how people watch it. And I swear to God, because you've run into those fans. Oh, I actually like it. I don't think that's possible.
No. I think that they're either masochists or they just love to be contrarians. Like they're like, well, if everyone hates it, then I've got to love it. I just want to be different.
Yeah.
Something can just straight up suck. It's a real possibility.
Yeah.
This is one of those things.
Well, and
Although something that the special brought up though, and I like this with the documentary, is that it, in the grand scheme of what else was on TV like this in the 70s, it wasn't that bad. That's just how bad 70s TV was. Is that this like slotted right in, and if anything, it was like inoffensive. It didn't really move the needle one way or the other.
yeah.
How
No, I mean,
trash does television have to be if this is considered to be mid?
well, I mean, we've seen all the. I mean, they showed clips of other shows in this documentary to kind of like balance out, like say, hey, if you think this is sucky, like check out what else you could have had. And I understand that, but I'll be honest with you, I don't. To me, that doesn't give it a pass. I'm sorry, that does not give it a pass for me because Star Wars is supposed to be held to this higher, higher standard. And now, devil's advocate
Now it
to my own
is.
point. Yeah, devil's advocate to my own point. They said, near the end of the documentary that basically the holiday special is where they turned the corner and said, okay, we're not just going to let any old Yahoo take our property and do what they want with it. It's, we're going to police the hell out of this and make sure that something like this doesn't happen again.
Right.
So, but yeah, see, the documentary does a great job of explaining, why it existed, how it came about, and the reasons for it not being a very quality piece of work. But that said, I don't understand how the people working on it had apparently no idea about Star Wars whatsoever. Because outside of the characters being in it, it doesn't have any redeeming qualities that A New Hope had. I mean, it was just like they guessed what Star Wars was. And that was the strangest thing to me is like, do you really think that a Star Wars fan is sitting here enjoying this? I mean,
well, the documentary also showed that, George Lucas did have a hand in it. Like he wrote the overall story and then it was, modified and rewritten from there. But whatever story there was in amongst all the variety segments, like that was George Lucas. He was writing that stuff. So I got to assume even this stupid 9-minute Wookiee scene started off as George Lucas saying, let's see what Chewbacca's family is like. And
well, I don't
found
mind
out, didn't we?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, Kale nails it. He says, would you rather hear 9 minutes and 10 seconds of Wookiee growls or 9 minutes and 10 seconds of stir, whip, stir? Yeah, oh my God.
That's a toss up, actually.
Yeah, oh my Lord. Yeah, I know that it was Lucas's original story, but the changes that they made to it just, it's a fascinating story. I would really encourage everybody to watch the documentary because it really is an interesting story. When you see how they just screwed it up. I mean, George Lucas was on the thing for what? They said a day?
Yeah.
Like he wrote the treatment, then he showed up for like the first day or something. It was like, all right, see ya. And he went off to work. He was doing like pre-production for Empire. And boy, does that show. And then, I mean, they showed like a screen grab, like a little graphic on the screen about like, there was like the variety show side, like the people that worked in variety shows. And then the other side was like the people that are actually at Lucasfilm. And it just kept dwindling to where, there was nobody from Lucasfilm on this thing. And so it was just a bunch of variety show people left in charge of this. I mean, it was just unbelievable. And I don't know how they could write something like this and look at it and go, okay, this is good. This is in the spirit of Star Wars. That's the thing that's...
I really don't think they were trying. I think they were trying to write a variety show and just, slap some intellectual property in there to get eyeballs.
Oh, I don't understand. I mean, Star Wars was so popular at that point. How do you do that? How do you justify that decision? Because, I mean, I hate to phrase it this way, but I mean, in a sense, you're just shitting on Star Wars. You're like, hey, remember
Well-
this movie you love? Well, we're gonna just like make you a turd pie. Enjoy.
Wasn't it CBS that went to Lucasfilm though? Went to George Lucas and said, "Hey, we have an idea for a variety show." Like I think it started as a TV project, and then Star Wars got involved, not the other way around.
Yeah, I don't, I don't remember that from the documentary, but yeah, I think you're right on that.
But yeah, George Lucas's involvement was basically the equivalent of not even lighting a bag of dog poop on fire and leaving it on someone's doorstep, but just like leaving the bag of dog poop with someone else coming by and lighting it on fire for him. Like
yeah, right.
he couldn't even like finish the job.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, was it bad? But like you said, everybody working on the project was not from Star Wars. They were just taking blind stabs in the dark. And after I didn't realize like how many other Star Wars TV appearances there were and how bad they were. That was another revelation for me from the documentary. Was like the Donnie and Marie show, and it wasn't Lawrence Welk, but they were comparing it to Lawrence Welk.
There was the Bob Hope thing, and
the Bob Hope thing.
That was at least a parody.
But oh my God, like Star Wars was all over TV, and it was all terrible.
Yeah.
This one is the famous one, but only because it had Star Wars front and center in the name. It was by far not the only Star Wars TV appearance after the movie came out, and it might be the best one anyway. That's the real like amazing part for me is like the rest was so terrible that the holiday special might be the best of the bunch. At least you had like the full cast and an attempt at a Star Wars story.
Yeah. The full cast, including Mark Hamill in kabuki makeup.
Oh God!
Again, what the hell was that? Like, I mean, for those of you who haven't seen, it's not actually in kabuki makeup, but God, they layered the pancake makeup on Mark Hamill. I was like, is this immediately after his car wreck or something? Like
that was the rumor. Yeah, that's what I thought.
They didn't say it in the documentary, so if that was the case,
they actually said that is not the case.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, they
said it was just really bad makeup. They
Yeah,
said though that a lot of the staff working on this thing was like they were theater people. So he pretty much had stage makeup on. That's why he had like the eyeliner and massive foundation because it was meant to be seen, in an amphitheater from like 40 rows back, like not up close with a TV camera. It's like back in the early days of Nintendo when like games had like limited continues and points that didn't matter because it was a bunch of arcade game developers developing for home consoles and not understanding how the formats differed. It's the same thing. Like, they just didn't know what the hell they were doing. Like they didn't know what to do on TV with Star Wars.
That again, how do you completely miss the vibe and the feel of Star Wars the way that they did? I mean, I get it, it's a variety show, but holy crap, man, like they were way off base. I mean, come on, Harvey Korman, like that alien that he played with B. Arthur, like, oh, he drinks from pouring shit in his head. Like, are you kidding me right now?
Don't forget she was what was she was like yearning for that giant rat in the corner. How is a giant rat now an alien? It's clearly just a giant rat.
Yeah, but it's in a galaxy a long time ago, far, far away. So it's like, since it's a different part of space, there could be like, I don't know, space radiation or something.
It's a space rat. So actually the space whales aren't so bad. I mean, we started with giant space rats.
Well, and that's why the space whales are so big, because look how big the rats are. If the rats are that big, imagine how big the goddamn whales got to be.
That makes sense. That does track. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay.
Yep. Kale McLeish, she says, he also looked like a goddamn Ken doll. Yes, he did. Discuss Metal Joe, he says, I always imagine that they put a ton of effort into the holiday special. Then George was in the truck the day they aired it live screaming, "Where's the damn subtitles? No, not okay." Mimar, space rat hates. That's why it's Rashy and Discharge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
actually, they lost Discharge at a very young age because of that, unfortunately.
Yes.
It was a long time ago. It was pre-Greg Louganis days.
Oh, geez. That's an old reference. Wow.
This is older. Anyway.
All right. There we go.
The other nugget that I pulled out when they were talking, you were talking about like how terrible like most of it was. Did you catch that little nugget where they said that the original writers left the variety segments blank? Like they didn't. They wrote like the skeleton of the Star Wars story that would like wrap around all the segments, but then they just didn't write anything for like, I don't know. There's going to be like a 5-minute chunk here. What's going in there? I don't know. Someone hire a singer or something. A juggler, whatever the hell.
I thought George
they didn't
Lucas
even
wrote
know.
that in there. Wow. Okay. Well, yeah, I know. I remember it was in the script. I thought George Lucas did that though. I know he did put Raquel Welch in there, which they even said it in the documentary. Like, yeah, just put Raquel Welch. Like, oh, she's pretty hot. I always wanted to meet her. So, hey,
You
go
can't
for it.
blame the guy. If I was that stinking rich and had just what how old is he then? Like mid-20s, early 30s at most?
No, he's mid-30s.
Okay.
Early 30s, I think.
He was young enough with his first taste of fame. I might exploit that too.
I mean, you can't fault a guy for trying, I suppose.
Right.
So, all right, let's get to some of the specific parts of this and just, I mean, let's get right to it. The friggin' space porn. That was,
oh boy.
When you mentioned that when we were talking about it before I actually watched it, I was like, excuse me? And then when it actually went down, I was like, what in the crap is this? I mean, that might be as car crash as it gets in that damn special, because you've got just the camera on that woman for I don't know how long. And she's like, ooh, we're excited, aren't we? I'm like, oh my God. I'm like squirming in my seat, like, oh, this is disgusting. And then they show like the exterior shots. You got, Itchy in the freaking chair with that old man Wookiee mouth, like oh, dude, I was like,
did they add extra
this?
drool? I think they added extra drool, like he was salivating or something.
Well, the version that I watched on YouTube was a little bit blurry, so I didn't catch it. I would not be surprised if they did that. But it was just, oh my God! Like, again, who thinks this is a good idea? Who thinks it's a good?
None of it makes any sense. Like, why is old man Wookiee busy getting his lipstick out for a human woman? It makes no sense. Like, at least have it be like another Wookiee or something, you know?
And why is he putting on lipstick? Like, check me out. I've got Blistex. This will turn her on. This shit's medicated.
Well, that was actually more of a metaphor, but
it was. I don't care what it was. And then the dumb little show with there was the tumblers in the one scene that Lumpy was watching. And
did people not have eardrums in the 70s, by the way? Because just sonically, like the tones and all the synthesizer and crap, that's hard to listen to. It's just ugly sound.
Yeah.
You're like 5 minutes with that juggling act. It was insanely bad.
It was as low budget as you can get, which our good buddy Circle J up in the comments said, money. But they didn't really talk about, in the documentary at least, anything about, okay, well, George Lucas is making so much damn money, to do this. That's why he did it. I mean, really, it was done out of fear. They said specifically that they were actually afraid that Star Wars would go out of the public consciousness. So they wanted to keep everyone's mind on Star Wars. So like, oh, let's put something out between the movies so that people are like, oh yeah, Star Wars. I mean,
yeah.
And
isn't
obviously
crazy.
I mean, it's knowing what we know now. I even knowing what we know now, I still think it's crazy. I agree with you, because it was the biggest movie in history at the time. And it had only been like a year and a half since it was released, and it had been re-released in theaters a couple times. How are people going to forget about that? What kind of paranoia was there? I mean, that is fascinating.
Plus, the toys had just come out earlier that year. So this was like the first Christmas season they could sell toys for the movie. Tell me that people weren't chomping at the bit to get those things. I really don't think they needed a TV special to be reminded that they could go and buy toys of this movie that had
Yes.
just spent like a year and a half in theaters.
Yeah. Well, and to your point, because I thought the exact same thing, and you brought this up when we were talking the other night, it is a wonder that Star Wars survived this. Because I think about what I would have thought as a kid if I'm like so absolutely bananas about Star Wars, and I've got A New Hope, and then this comes out, and to me, I'd be like, what in the ever living holy hell is this pile of shit? I mean, it is so polar opposite of A New Hope. And granted, A New Hope is a a major release motion picture. It's going to have the special effects on it. But like I said earlier, there is none of the feel and the heart and anything from Star Wars. I mean, there's none of it.
Mm-hmm.
Even the Empire. Like the stormtroopers, like the guy goes to leave, all they do is put their gun in the guy's face. I mean, they were like mobsters.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you fucking move, I'm gonna blow your fucking head off. All right, you get away from the fucking door. What you doing? Sit the fuck down, old man. What you doing? I'm gonna take the top of your head off. What are you gonna do? Like, I mean, it was like the mafia.
Mm-hmm.
And then the officers, they're just hollering at people. Make this thing work. Like, good Lord, okay. God bless it. You're gonna give that old man a heart attack. Like, what are you doing?
I gotta assume that like part of the Imperial wardrobe is like an electrified butt plug or something. Like something has got to be like literally up these guys' butts to put them in such a bad mood all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about scene-chewingly bad performances. It's just unfriggin' real. Unfriggin' real.
It's like we said, like they did not have a clue what Star Wars was. So like, oh, they're the bad guys, we're gonna make them bad. Mm-hmm. Well, it's not really like that, dude. Like, I mean, oh man.
Okay, speaking of bad and low budget, the Millennium Falcon.
The cardboard cockpit.
Oh my God. Like, did they just not have a set like in storage or something that they could have used from the movie? It was so obvious when they spliced in film footage. Did you see that a couple of times?
Yes.
Like, holy shit, was that different? Did you really think? I know TVs were bad back in the day and resolution was low, but did they not think that would stick out like a sore thumb?
I would have to guess that number one, they probably didn't think it would stick out like a sore thumb, and number two, they didn't care.
Number two.
Yeah. I mean,
this whole thing is number two anyway. So,
dude, excuse me. Those scenes reminded me of my favorite voiceover ever in film history from Major League, where, they hit the home run and there's the guys, talking about it in the stands. Like, no, it's too high. No, it's too far. And they hear one guy go, who gives a shit? It's gone. And it's obvious. It is a whole other voice. I mean, it just reminded me of that. Like, it just sticks out like a sore thumb. But, that was funny intentionally, the Falcon crap. Like, ugh. Yeah, Mimar's got something interesting. She says the franchise would not have gotten to this institution upper echelon without this holiday special. Interesting. Expound on that, Mimar. That's an interesting. If you're referencing the fact that, as they mentioned in the documentary, that after this they were militant about, the property and making sure that no one could do this sort of abomination ever again. I think you're 100% right. I think this was kind of like that come to Jesus moment very early on in the franchise, obviously, where they were like, ooh, I don't think other people really get what Star Wars is. I think this is really a George Lucas thing, and we better just have George do it.
This is, again, one of those weird things, though, because this was not the first time Star Wars had appeared on TV. They'd done appearances on these other shows, and it was absolutely as bad or worse than this. So why is this the line in the sand where they're like, nope, we're not doing this anymore? Like, you saw the clips in the documentary. The other shows were probably worse than this, and yet they let it continue till this got made.
Well, because the other shows, I think it wasn't labeled as like a Star Wars production. It was Donnie and Marie have a Star Wars ending type of thing. Here's a Star Wars parody. I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, they're terrible, but this was actually like, outside of A New Hope, it's the only thing we had.
Mm-hmm.
And So for it to be this, I mean, dude, just looking at Lumpy is like, what the hell is that? I mean, it was just shockingly bad. And
I was actually going to say, as a bright spot, if there is one, is that based on the shoestring budget this thing had, for those Wookiee costumes to have to stand up next to the film quality Chewbacca costume, I thought they did a decent job at that. They weren't
that I
great,
would
but
agree
they were a
with.
lot better than they could have been. I mean, you've seen no one can pull off a good Chewbacca costume to this day. And yet they somehow made one on a TV budget back in the 70s. So that's actually pretty impressive.
Yeah, I would go along with that. I think that's a good point. Gets us some more comments here. Cam McLeish says, well, is bad Star Wars still worth keeping it in the public consciousness? They knew that Empire was going to be huge and worth the wait, so why jeopardize it with this? This could have sunk it instead. Well, Kale, actually, they did not know Empire was going to be huge. George Lucas was kind of crapping his pants over that movie, which is actually why Splinter of the Mind's Eye is around, because that was supposed to be like the sequel to A New Hope, and it was purposely written at George's direction to only occur in like one or two places, so that in case, Star Wars didn't pan out, he could still make a sequel and it'd be really, really inexpensive, but he could still make it. So he was kind of crapping his pants over that. Discuss Metal Joe, it says, this would not have killed Star Wars for you. JT would still have said Han Solo was cool, even though the special was bad. Yeah, I don't know what I would have thought, because Han Solo was such a badass to me. Like, if I then had to see him in the holiday special being like a cheese ass, I don't know. Like, I don't know, man.
Did he not have a super awkward moment with Chewbacca's wife?
Oh my God, that look.
Oh, that was.
Yes.
I kind of want to point on the doll to where the Wookiee touched me.
Well, look, if Itchy can fantasize about human women, why can't Mala fantasize about human men?
Man, they got a thing for the fleshies, don't they?
Fleshies.
Hey, man, if we're furries, they're fleshies. That's
Yes.
how that works.
Yes. Yep. Sean Hines, good to see you, man. He says, with the 70s TV budget, we're lucky the Wookiees didn't look like Muppets. Yeah.
Right.
Look, let's be honest, Lumpy wasn't far off. I mean, that is just like, it was kind of harrowing. It's kind of creepy looking. And I mean, Itchy looks like something out of that movie Congo, which I'm one of the few people that like at least thought that movie was like interesting and entertaining. It's not great by any means, but it looked like one of the apes, the gorillas from Congo. Those fake things like Tyler Burkhart, thanks for tuning in, man. He says the holiday special was a fever dream mixed with a lot of drugs. Yeah.
At this point, it was so bad, and they were like scraping the bottom of the barrel for costumes. They might as well have just gotten Sweetums from the Muppet Show in there.
You're kind of waiting for Waldorf and Statler to be up for like
right,
up top, like I don't know what they're doing. They've got B. Arthur singing a song while this guy pours a drink in his head. Well, it's still better than that frog.
Yeah, right.
See, that would have been better. Combine it with like heckling from, the Muppets. Combine it with the Muppets. Okay, there we go. And it would have been better. It would have been better. Yeah, I don't know,
totally
man.
See that. I could totally see that.
All right, so better graphics. Atari 2600 or the communicator display in the Wookiee living room.
Ooh, that's a tough one. That's, again, you're dealing with like big high budget ideas on a low TV budget sort of production. This thing was doomed from the start, man.
And they've got that sliding, wooden door that like isn't hiding anything, and yet the stormtroopers look at it like, nah, screw it. They open it up, nothing's there. What the hell? Ugh, whatever.
this all kind of highlights something for me that I've always had an issue with. The Wookiees don't make any sense whatsoever. They really don't. I mean, they're these big, hairy, dog-like creatures that walk around. They don't even wear clothes, and yet they're supposed to be like technologically advanced. Like they can repair starships and do like they don't live in any way, shape, or form like a species.
Guys, I just dumped AJ from the show for a brief moment to offer an apology for him to rip on Wookiees. I don't know where the hell he gets off ripping on Wookiees. We're not talking about Wookiees. Wookiees are fun. Wookiees are great. The Star Wars special is not. Back to AJ. Are you done
Oh, they live in
blaspheming
log
now?
cabins. They live in log cabins, but apparently they travel faster than the speed of light. Huh?
What are you talking about?
You're talking about like all the technology that they've got, and Chewbacca is the mechanic and the engineer on the Millennium Falcon. But what is there about Wookiees that looks like they could ever do any of that stuff?
They don't have to. What about Jabba the Hutt makes him look like he's a crime lord? Fucker can't even move. Oh, you better do this for me or I'll kick your ass. I'll just walk away slowly and you won't catch me. Damn it. Foiled again. Like, I mean,
yeah.
On.
Okay. If we're gonna start poking holes in the rationale of Star Wars aliens, we're gonna be here all day.
I was gonna say, like, how this took a very bad turn. Like, I was like, wait a minute, is he ripping on the Wookiees on the show or actual Wookiees? Oh God, he's ripping actual Wookiees.
Well,
I think the only thing that they did get right. I'm gonna get you off of Wookiees here. He's like, get you off.
Well, speaking of Wookiees getting off, that porn scene. No, just kidding.
I'm telling you, I just keep picturing Mala going, and Dad, don't be rubbing one out in the damn living room again. No paddling ham before dinner.
That's the thing. Like even Harvey Korman's character was like, "You're gonna like this one. Let's sit down in the living room and do it." Like,
yeah,
come on now.
Right in the middle of the family. Hey, here you go. Basically hands him a Playboy. Here, your grandson's over there, like, watching Boba Fett and like tumbling dancers. Your daughter's over there cooking dinner. So here, check out a centerfold.
Yeah. I love how it's just right there in the middle of the living room, I guess. Sure. Okay.
Sean Hines says, come on now. We got Art Carney pulling an Ed Norton stall tactic on an Imperial officer. Legendary comedy gold. Yeah, that stuff is just so cringeworthy. And I completely agree with, in the documentary, they talk about the fact that like they didn't get, some up and coming hip actors and actresses that would be cool to like the Star Wars crowd. They just went out and got like the aging, like variety show standbys, like Art Carney and Harvey Korman. Like, I get it, he did some goofy stuff, but I tell you what, man, this is, how do you read this and just go, yeah, okay.
I'm just glad that CBS apparently has always been the old person's network, because that was the direction from the CBS execs. They wanted to get older people that would capture their demographic.
Yeah.
So even back then, it was old people watching CBS.
Yeah. Yeah, but that,
Did you guess the part where they said that that they almost had Robin Williams, but they turned him down because he was a nobody. Yeah. And then like 3 weeks later, after production had started, like then Mork and Mindy hit.
then he was a somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's. I guess
like Chris Hemsworth as George Kirk in 2009 Star Trek. Like, yeah, he was just a nobody. I mean, Thor came out the next year, but whatever.
Yeah, we don't need that guy. Yeah, it's. Yeah, the Wookiee porn scene. I think that one got me. I was like, what the crap am I watching? And it's like, and they have a couple different things where it's like, it's so cringy. Like you said, like the look that Mala gives Han Solo. It's not like this quick glance and it goes away. Like, it doesn't pan. It's like this, like staring soulfully into his eyes thing. Like, oh God, stop that. Like, please stop.
Do we credit the actress? Do we give the actress credit? All she's got is her eyes to act in that scene. And I mean, it worked. I knew exactly what she was expressing. Yeah. And I was not comfortable. That was.
Yeah, that's, let me see. I think I can, let's see here. Can I bring this up in a full screen? Let's see. Yeah, I mean, oh, there we go. Yeah, I mean, dude, it's just like I said, it's almost like a double helping. It's almost like a double helping of Wookiee porn. It's just not. And again,
And then it gets all trippy. Don't forget that she starts singing that song, and it gets completely trippy with those like tunnel graphics.
oh god, yeah, dude, could you imagine? Here we go. I'll present this on the screen for all of our audio viewers. So, I mean, look at this look.
No. Oh
Look
god.
at this. I mean, that's just like. I mean, that's the way my fat ass would look at a plate of crab legs, for God's sakes.
Right? Like if anyone's ever been done any like online dating, and you get like a like and a message from somebody, and you're all excited, and you open the profile, and then this is what's on the other side for you.
It's this. It's a better question. Would this is this Mala's dating profile picture, and if so, would she use a filter? Would she put glitter in her fur?
Glitter in her fur, or maybe the little hearts under the eyes, I think.
Yeah, the hearts under the eyes. Everything in a soft, like the soft look or whatever. I don't know what that's called. Like, oh, I can't even.
Would she have the fake cat ears, or is that like a hat on a hat at that point?
Like the Halloween thing. Holy crud. Oh my god. Yeah, that's bad. And then, dude, like how about like the stormtroopers and the Imperial officer just ripping Lumpy's room apart? I mean,
Okay, that was one moment where I actually felt bad for Lumpy. I
yeah.
was like, that's horrible. Can you imagine being a kid and watching these people come in and just like destroy your belongings?
Yeah, I was like, okay, they're bad, but they just literally, it wasn't even like they were looking for anything. It was like they were
No.
literally like teaching him a lesson, like, hey, you little hairy punk, I'm gonna screw up your room at 6 ways to Sunday. F you, you little bastard. We're gonna find your dad, but you're gonna pay the price in the meantime. And what the hell's with the Imperial officer? And go clean up your room. What is he, his uncle or some shit?
Yeah.
Like, okay, it destroys it. Like, now go clean up your room. Like,
Well,
what?
Life Day wouldn't be complete without some sort of verbally abusive relative showing up, right?
Right. I was like, are you kidding me? There's just so many amazing things. Like, and I was afraid I missed some stuff because apparently the one that I watched, like, it skipped a little bit, and I did catch it skip. So I was like, what am I missing? And then, of course, after I finish it, I find like a really good copy that's like cleaned up and it's complete. I was like, damn it, where was this? So of course I had to go back and rewatch parts of it, which that was a real treat. I was like, thanks.
I would love to know. Do you remember that it was actually on Disney Plus last year?
Yeah, where did it go?
I don't know.
I remember everybody was shocked.
They still have the don't they still have like the cartoon on there though?
Yeah, because it's called The Faithful Wookiee.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's still up there. I don't go in that section of Disney Plus for the Star Wars
collection.
Stuff. Yeah, I just that is that I don't.
So we're not doing a watch along of Ewoks or droids at any point.
No, I am not a fan. Not a fan. Ooh, Jesus. Yeah. Mimar. A Christmas miracle. Watching twice is so nice. Oh, it wasn't twice all the way through, believe me. I'm not kidding, Mimar. Like, I was literally like sitting in the chair going, I really want nothing more than to turn this off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I'm going to make it through it. And
did you catch the part where Seth Green said that he took his writers in there?
Oh, and at Lucas Ranch, yeah.
Yeah, tell that story.
So, yeah. So Seth Green, when they were doing the whole what the hell was it called? Detours.
Yep.
Which they've got to release those because we saw a couple minutes of footage at Celebration that one year and it was hilarious. But when they were working at the Lucas Ranch doing that show with George, they actually got a big group of the writers together to actually screen the holiday special in the screening room at the ranch. And they basically was like a kind of like waterboarding, like see who could take it the longest sort of thing. And he said the people were just dropping like flies like throughout. And it was, I mean, it really is that difficult to get through. Good Lord. Sean Hines says it was never on Disney Plus, just the faithful Wookiee cartoon. Sean, you are actually wrong on that because I saw it on Disney Plus and a whole bunch of other people have as well. It was a very short time though. I don't know why they put it up there for a minute and then took it down, but I know I saw it and they're like, what the hell? They got the holiday special on here? They do have everything. So it was a very brief time. Robert Husted, good to see you, man. He says, so what I'm hearing is that this is a must watch. Oh, yeah. It is a must watch.
You must watch. Yeah, you got it.
Yes.
You must watch the holiday special, and this documentary is actually fantastic.
Yes.
JT, you and I were talking about this before it came out, and I told you, I was like, the one thing I want is I want an actual narrative in the documentary. I don't want it to just be a bunch of people who had nothing to do with the show just talking about how bad the holiday special is.
Yeah.
We already know that. Like, I want to know exactly what the subtitle is, how the Star Wars holiday special happened.
Yes.
Like, what were the factors that led up to it? What was the TV landscape at the time? What was the reception that this thing got when it aired? What did the people who made it think of it after all this time? You know, like all that stuff. And it's all there in the documentary, actually. I thought it was a pretty well-balanced presentation. What did you think?
I thought it was an excellent presentation, honestly. And thank you for directing the conversation to something more productive than just shitting on the holiday special. I appreciate that. Something I couldn't do. Yeah, no, I thought it was awesome. Actually, I was really impressed. For some reason, I thought it was a lower budget thing. Maybe the trailer just didn't do it for me or something. I don't know, but it really wasn't. It was very well put together. It had a lot of great archival stuff. It had a lot of the people that were actually involved in the making of it, talking about it. And honestly, I thought it was actually pretty fair. I mean, yeah, they did say it was bad and everything, and they point out the bad parts, but I thought, they gave a good explanation as to why it ended up the way it ended up, how they got there. And they tried to like paint it in kind of a good light in some respects. So I thought it was a fair representation of the holiday special as a whole, which was cool because I was with you. I just didn't want to see, a Star Wars version of the Rise and Fall of the Ultimate Warrior. The WWE video they put together where it's just nothing but shitting on the Warrior, which I own a copy of, by the way. So saw that for $5 at the exchange and couldn't turn that deal down. But yeah, I'm with you. I thought it was really, really well done. And at the end, I wasn't surprised because they had Kyle Newman, who directed Fanboys, and he's like one of the biggest Star Wars fans on the planet. Like, he was one of the producers. I was like, okay, that makes sense. Because whenever he gets a hold of something Star Wars, it generally turns out to be pretty damn good. So
I was also well pleased that they got like so many people involved in the actual original production to talk about it, including like even the performers. And it was nobody notable. These are just nobody. So I'm sure they were thrilled to, get on camera and talk about it. But
yeah,
also tracking those people down after all this time has to be a pain in the ass. And being 40 years on from when they put this thing out, I mean, especially to a lot of these people, like even Harvey Korman did an interview in, like, was it 2001 or 2? I think it was a clip from the special, from the documentary, when he basically said, like, he doesn't remember anything from it. It was just a gig. He was there for like a day and it was done. And never thought about it again. So to get these people that actually had anything to report from this 40 years ago throwaway television production was kind of impressive, really.
What kind of a career must that guy have had to where you don't remember that?
I wonder about that. Like, I know Star Wars wasn't like the cultural phenomenon of decades that it's become, but still, like, you had to know that it was a big deal. You had to at least heard of Star Wars. Like you were talking about, all these writers who didn't know what the hell to do with it. How did you not at least know something of Star Wars? It was everywhere.
Well, and when Harvey Korman did that interview, it was the early 2000s, so the prequels were in theaters. So Star Wars was everywhere, and you knew at that point what a huge phenomenon it was. So to say, well, I was part of it at the beginning and I don't remember it, like, is that just like PTSD?
It might be.
Is that like when you get, like, in a bad car wreck and your brain is so traumatic, pushes it out of your memory so you don't really remember it, even though it did happen? Like, oh man.
Well, walk up to him on the street and say, stir whip, stir whip, stir whip, and see what he comes up with from that.
Dude. Sean
That
Hines,
might be his
fight the
activation
Frizzies.
phrase.
It probably is. Did you watch the credits to see the Fight the Frizzies thing?
No.
Yeah, there was a newscaster on like one of the famous copies you can find out there. It was doing like a tease for like the 11 o'clock news during the closing credits or whatever of the holiday special, and it was like fight the Frizzies, and now it's like this legendary thing. So if you go in the like during the credits of the documentary, like they actually track that guy down, and he was like, of all the like enlightening stories I told and all these great news things I did in my career, the only thing anyone knows me for is fight the Frizzies. So yeah, I mean, the whole thing was really, really well done. I will definitely be purchasing it, but I will not be purchasing it for the cooking segment. Well, I'm sorry, I just crossed my streams there because I'm thinking to Harvey Korman. I will definitely be buying the documentary, but I want to, touch on that cooking segment. That was at least up until that point, you had Star Wars-esque things in it. And then all of a sudden you get to the cooking segment and you're just like, holy shit. It's Hedy Lamarr. If you're a Blazing Saddles fan, you'll get that reference. It's Hedy Lamarr in space drag with 4 arms doing a cooking show, imitating Julia Child. And wow. And like you said, like he says in the documentary that he doesn't really remember it. How do you not remember that?
That is a fantastic fucking question. How do you dress up as a 4-armed Julia Child on a Star Wars show and be like, just another day at the office?
Well, and like I said, and then later on, he was the video instruction manual for some thing of Lumpies, where he was like,
he showed up like 3 different times, didn't he?
Yeah, he did that, and he kept like breaking down or something. He was like a droid. I don't know what the heck that was even about. And then he was the humanoid alien in the cantina with B. Arthur, where he drank from the top of his head. So yeah, how you don't remember that is pretty fascinating to me. Like
the other amazing part for me is that we haven't gotten action figures of all these characters yet.
Well, they showed that one, like it was like apparently might have been a prototype set or something that someone had, like one of the collectors. I forget if it was Steven Sansweet or the other guy, and basically it was like Itchy was just like one of the regular Wookiees, but they painted like a gray mouth on him or whatever.
Yeah, just the same. It was the same Chewbacca mold.
Yeah, just don't put too much effort in there, guys.
Right.
Robert Husted's quoting Blazing Saddles in the chat. I can't put that quote up here, but oh, I love it. I love it. By the way, okay, just so we're clear on this. Okay, he's saying, all right, so that's God, what is the Taggart? He's quoting Taggart. And
yeah,
it's an offensive quote. So okay, I lost the train of thought there. Yeah. Sean Hines, you're actually pretty close to the mark. He says maybe he thought it was just another one of his sketches for the Carol Burnett show. And they did say that it was actually kind of like a ripoff of a character he did on Carol Burnett. Like when he was, they said it was a big, tall Jewish mother character, I think they said in the documentary. And it was like he was in drag and stuff, and he just kind of recreated that. But yeah, like Kale mentioned up earlier in the comments, like stir, whip, stir, whip. Like, what in God's name is that? So, but yeah, I thought that the documentary was really well balanced. I thought it was very informative. Again, it wasn't just them crapping on it. There was a lot of great information about it, and it was pretty fascinating to see the backstory. Considering, I'm kind of surprised that no one did this before, or by now, I should say. I mean, this thing is pretty legendary. Like, I can't believe that somebody else hadn't already come out and said, "Hey, check out how this happened."
Sean Hines coming in with the chat here. Yeah, this is actually a point that was covered in the documentary as well. He says, Disney has danced around the holiday special with references and Life Day merch. Just acknowledge its existence and give it an official release already.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually celebrate Life Day at the parks, and
Mhm.
you get like action figures of Chewbacca and Life Day robes and all this kind of stuff. So it's very much like alive in Star Wars, but they just won't put it out there. It's kind of bizarre because, you know, they'll market anything they think they can make a buck off of.
Well, and you know, we see what it's November 17th is Life Day, correct?
Yeah, because that's the release date back in 1978 when this came out.
Yeah. So, I mean, every time November 17th rolls around, all of our Star Wars nerd friends, we see it all over Life Day. Happy Life Day, yada yada. Chris Aiken chiming in. Good to see you, man, for the second time today. He says, still better than anything with Jar Jar. No, it really is not.
You know what, Aiken, I'm putting you on blast right now. I'll send you the YouTube link. You've got to watch it now. You've got to watch it and then honestly defend that take on your show.
He can't. He hates Jar Jar Binks more than anything.
Yeah, that's what's called trolling.
Yeah. Well, he's trying to troll, but what he doesn't understand is that it's actually factually incorrect. It's the Kale wants the link as well. I've got to find the link to that, like the good one. I'll have to look that up and then I'll post it on our Facebook page. I've got to find that because, like I said, it was like right after I finished the crappy one, I found a good one. I was like, damn it. So we will find
I've got one labeled 60 FPS and one labeled nice copy.
Yeah, I think it's a 60 FPS one. I mean, you can tell right away. Just if you,
just head right to YouTube, Kale, and just look up Star Wars Holiday Special. That's a weird thing too, isn't it?
Kale said
Isn't that
actually.
Bizarre?
Kale says actually don't. That might count as self-harm. Watching the holiday special is a cry for help. Yeah, right? just stick to watching this documentary, Disturbance in the Force. Like that. Spend the money to rent it on Amazon, and then if you want to go back and watch the holiday special, you can go find it. But
yeah, but dude, you know, we tried to do one film commentary back before we even did a video format. We did a film commentary watch along of A New Hope, and just like the 5 seconds of dead space where there was a little bit of soundtrack bleeding through, we got taken down for a copyright strike.
Yeah,
by Lucasfilm. And our t-shirt designs have been taken off of TeePublic for copyright strikes. So Disney is all over this shit. And yet there are multiple copies of the holiday special in its entirety on YouTube, cleanly advertised and no problem. So that shows you how little they give a shit about this thing.
Well, see, it's interesting that you mentioned that because I was able to get the despecialized Blu-rays without issue. And I'm like, well, that's the whole damn movie. So it is interesting how you can get things like that, but then these copyright strikes on YouTube go down. You're like, what the heck is going on here? So yeah, Sean Hines, be careful watching the documentary. Side effects may include the desire to watch the holiday special. Very, very true. Yeah, I don't know, man. I thought it was really good. I thought it was really, really good. They had like some actual major stars. Obviously, there was a lot of Kevin Smith in there, a lot of Seth Green. They had Patton Oswalt, who can go fuck himself. I'm about to lump him in with Simon Pegg. So he cracked off about the prequels, and if I got to hear that one more time, I'm going to puke. But yeah, so they had some big name actors. And they were, big Star Wars nerds, and they added some good, I think, like fan perspective to it. And like you said, they got so many of the original people that worked on it. And if they didn't have the actual people because they passed away or wouldn't take part or whatever, they had a bunch of archival interviews with them and stuff like that. So I thought it was a really great cross section and a good, just a really good overview of the holiday special. And it was interesting. It kind of. I thought it brought more life to it. It wasn't just a collection of facts. as you said, it wasn't just a collection of people crapping on it. I thought it made the holiday special a little more interesting.
Mhm.
I think, if you were to watch this documentary and then go back and watch the actual holiday special itself, it might be a little more fulfilling of a watch than just what I did, which is, oh God, I'm watching the holiday special. Just please claw my eyes out. Like, ugh, my God. Like
Yeah, if they were really thinking about how people were going to watch this, they would have put everything in a little frame, like postage stamp size, just enough so as you're watching it like this, with like one eye through, clenched fingers, you don't miss anything,
Yeah. Aiken says, I'm not defending it, but you have to remember that late 70s was the variety show era. It was their take at being a space-aged Carol Burnett. It sucked, but I'm betting they generally thought home run leading into the airing.
See, it's interesting that he says that, because that's one of the points that the documentary makes, is that it was the format of the time. Everyone was doing it. So this wasn't like out of line to have this idea of how do we expand the franchise? Well, variety shows are big. Let's do one of those. Like, it totally makes sense, in its time. But as far as your whole thing of everyone thinking it was going to be a home run before it ever came out, not true.
No.
Not true. Even the people writing it, they were like, we don't even know what to do with all this time. They even said like it got expanded from a 1 hour to a 2 hour.
Yeah.
So it would have been crappy already, but it would have been half the length at least. By the way, crappy is Chewbacca's illegitimate son.
So who do we have now? We've got Chewbacca, Mala, Itchy, Lumpy, Rashy, Discharge, and Crappy.
But yeah, leading up to it. So Chris, I'll give you an example. Like the final scene is basically, it's like the Wookiees just kind of walk into a star, for lack of a better term. They went to film the finale to this whole thing when they're celebrating Life Day, and they walk on set, and the actors are like, "Where's the set?" And the answer is there wasn't one. They ran out of money. So they couldn't even have a set for the finale to show Life Day. They had a black stage, and they went out and bought a shitload of candles, and they just layered the stage in candles, and that was all they could afford. They didn't even have Wookiee suits for all the Wookiees. They just put them in red robes because they didn't have to then have Wookiee suits for everybody.
I'm sorry.
Like,
I just
talk about shoestring.
I can't stop laughing at Rashy, Discharge, and Crappy.
See, and this kind of fun wouldn't exist without the holiday special. So we've got to be at least a little bit grateful,
Oh my God. We should go buy some of the old school Kenner action figures and just take some paint and make our own Rashy, Discharge, and Crappy. Oh my God.
Yep.
Aiken, the doc is available on Apple TV for rental. It's also available on Amazon Prime for rental. It's called A Disturbance in the Force. By the way, what we're ripping on is the holiday special itself, not the documentary. The documentary is awesome, but the Legionnaire podcast, thank you for tuning in. Good to see you. Says, while the original holiday special was quite lackluster, I really enjoyed the Lego holiday special released a few years ago. Quite a fun little special. That I agree with 100%. That was very well done. It obviously poked fun at certain things. And it was, man, I thought it was really well done. I mean, really though, I think anything they do Star Wars Legos turned out pretty damn good. I'm a huge fan of the video games. I to this day I still play the Skywalker Saga one. They just do a really fun job with those, I think. Kale McLeish says, do I need to send you a shirt that says Chewbacca, Mala, Lumpy, Itchy, Rashy, Discharge, and Crappy for Christmas? Yeah, it would be like one of those shirts with the list of names. Yeah. Oh, man, if we could have one of those made, I would wear the hell out of that.
Like, instead of Dasher, Dancer, Donner, Blitzen, blah, 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 it's just Chewbacca, Molly, Lumpy, Itchy, Rashy, Discharge, and Crappy.
Rashy, and Discharge, and Crappy. Crappy the Wookiee. Oh my god.
God damn it. We've derailed ourselves.
Oh my lord. You're the one that did it when you did Crappy. It was already bad enough with Rashy and Discharge. You're the one that said that Chewbacca's family was named after the symptoms of a sexually transmitted disease. That's not my fault. Oh, oh my gosh. There we go.
Yes. We've got a second on this. Okay. It's going to happen. This will be a shirt. This will be a shirt before our next show, available on shop.nerfherdercouncil.com.
I was just going to say, make it an official shirt.
I'm doing it.
People can buy. You know what shirts I'm talking about too, where it's just like the list of names in like a column, and it's you get in for everything. Like, oh my god, that is holy.
I've already got the design in my head.
Crappy the Wookiee. What if Crappy was like look like Lumpy, but like it's just like hair's all matted and fucked up.
Oh,
like
God,
got like a couple of twigs sticking out here and there.
Chunks of corn all matted in his fur.
Like food in the corner of his mouth.
Oh, God.
You're the graphic artist. You need to take a picture of Lumpy and actually mock up a picture of what Crappy would look like. Holy shit, man. God damn it.
I knew we weren't going to get through this damn show.
Holy shit. See,
we need an intermission or something.
I know. See,
gather ourselves.
This is the problem. Is that like I could picture it so vividly in my head, and that's why it's just like the door slides open, and this dumpy piece of shit Wookiee's sitting there. Han turns around. Oh, look, it's Crappy.
Oh, Joe, you are so lucky that I'm not technologically kind enough to do that. I would so sketch this out right now.
I'm telling you, like, I gotta sing this weekend. I'm gonna blow my voice out. There goes all the Journey tunes. John, why are we taking separate ways out of the set? Because of Crappy the Wookiee. Oh, sorry, guys. All right. Whew.
I think we've pretty much covered the special, huh?
I think we did. Wow.
So the one point that finished off my notes, two things actually. We have something that we need to look up.
Okay.
They did make note of something, and I'm sure the uber nerds, like maybe like Sean Hines, for example, has probably heard of this. The George Lucas Super Live Special.
Oh, the overseas things.
Yeah. What the hell was that? I never heard of that before. We've got to find that. I think it might be on YouTube as well.
I'm surprised
that's not even worse.
I'm surprised that's not more publicized. That's, yeah, Sean Hines, yeah, he said it's in Japan. And what was it? There was another one they mentioned too, wasn't there?
Not sure, but the other thing, like the finishing point of the documentary was that because this thing has never been officially released or, officially recognized, it's been referenced, but never like officially acknowledged as a thing. That kind of is what makes it like worth watching, right? Like it's this thing you're not allowed to have. So it's clandestine. So you want to have it. It's contraband. I want to see Star Wars Detours all the more now.
Oh, dude. I still don't understand how that has not come out. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I mean, how easy would it be for Disney Plus to just dump it on the service and be like, look, there, we got new Star Wars for you while we're, writing Ahsoka season 2 or whatever the hell.
Well, and I understand why they, at the time, why they didn't air it, because the whole supposedly it was the fact that, Disney had just acquired the property, and they didn't want it to look silly. They wanted to be like, oh, Star Wars is this big serious thing. Well, next year will be 12 years since they acquired Star Wars and Lucasfilm and whatnot. It's like, okay, you can do this now. You can show these things. And especially there's a big segment of the fan base that are aware of the show, and it would have an audience. I mean, I don't know how many people would know it, but
I mean, even if the references don't make sense because they've like written stuff into canon that contradicts what's in the show now, who cares?
Yeah.
It's just one of those path not taken kind of projects at this point.
Yeah, Sean, very, very good point. He says, I'm hoping mentioning detours in this documentary creates a great new groundswell push to get it released. Yeah, I mean, you never know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's content that's just sitting there done. I mean, it's at this point, it's basically free. Just, hey, we need to put something in the network. Let's put detours up there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why not?
It is bizarre to spend all that time and money on a project and then never do anything with it whatsoever.
Yeah. Like I said, it's done. And it's official George Lucas stuff. It's, Seth Green. And again, if you look it up on YouTube, I think there's some obviously fan shots stuff, but I think the longest you have is like 3, 4, maybe 5 minutes that someone shot kind of on the sly at Celebration. So, Sean, hopefully they don't Batgirl detours. I think it's already happened.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well,
yeah, I think what you mean to say is that they detoured Batgirl.
And that was a pretty
Batgirl.
That was a pretty crappy decision. That's if you do that.
There were a lot of obstacles getting in the way, so it was lumpy,
I swear, if you make that shirt for real, you've got to tell me, and we gotta announce that on the show. So
it's happening. This is a promise. That's why I mentioned it live on air. This is happening.
You know what we should do? I wonder, like, on the T Public site and all that, whatever. Like, how? Let's say we put it up there and it gets pulled in like 45 minutes. Like, oh, you can't do that. Well, what if someone orders in that 45 minutes? Will they still make the shirt?
No, I tried that before.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, they'll cancel the order, unfortunately.
Well, okay, so I guess we put it up there, see if it sticks, and if it sticks, then we have a new shirt.
I'm down. We're doing it.
It is. I want to see this before you put it up. I want final executive say.
Now, Kale mentions Patreon exclusive merch. This will not be Patreon exclusive merch. However, I will go ahead and post on our Patreon page when this shirt becomes available. So whether you pay us money or not, if you go to our Patreon page, which is patreon.com/NHC podcast, that's where you're going to get the first information that this shirt is dropped.
Yes. And then we will announce it on the show later. But if it's there, we all gotta. Oh my God, that is fantastic! I love.
We should probably do this design in a color that looks good on a brown T-shirt, right?
Well, I mean, it's just white block letters. That's all it is. I mean, hell, that's all you got to do. Aiken says he's got a guy that'll make the shirt for us off the books. Yeah, we want to sell it. We want our chat to be able to have the only shirts like that. Could you imagine walking through Celebration and you see that shirt? People be like, "What?"
That's even better than advertising the show.
So Sean Hines says that he's had his Mandalorian mashup shirts pulled before, but my order was still made before it was pulled. Okay, well, there you go. I guess we're gonna find out. I guess we're gonna find out. And another thing that you can find out is our thoughts on the new Indiana Jones movie, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. While we're watching the movie, that is actually happening on the Virtual Cantina Network tomorrow night. It'll be us and Dave, one of the admins, one of the main dudes here at the Virtual Cantina. And the three of us are going to be sitting down at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, and we are going to watch the new Indiana Jones movie. So if you want to watch that tomorrow night with us, just jump on here, and we will be doing a time code thing, so we're all at the same point of the movie, and we'll be discussing it as it goes. I think anybody who's watched the show for the last few months knows that we are, at least me, huge fans of that movie. So there'll probably be a lot of Indiana Jones fanboying, at least from my side of the screen. So I'm excited.
I love it too.
Yeah, that that movie just humanizes Indiana Jones in a way that just makes watching the other 4 movies just so much more enjoyable. And I already love those movies anyway, so I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Aiken with his offensive shirt. I forgot about that one. Jeez.
And if that's not enough Indiana Jones for you, then Friday night, I will be doing one of our WTF Friday episodes. I'm going to be doing a live Lego build of the Lego Raiders of the Lost Ark diorama. That's a free-form conversation about anything that I feel like talking about, unless someone, decides to chime in with something else, and then we'll talk about that instead. So all topics are on the table. I'll be building as my microphone falls, some of the Lego set. It's a little too big to cover in one session. That's like a 6-hour build. So
okay.
I'm not doing like a marathon charity stream or anything. But if you want to, watch some Lego get put together, talk some Indiana Jones, join me on Friday night. That's going to be around 8:30 or so, 8:30
Okay.
Eastern.
I will say, and I'm not just shilling this because it's our show and you're my brother and my co-host, but the WTF Fridays with the Lego builds are actually pretty interesting. AJ's got a great camera set up for it, so you can actually watch it as it's coming together, and the conversation flows. It's really cool. It's definitely a good hangout if you got nothing going on and just want to kill some time and kind of nerd out a little bit. I would highly recommend that. And he does have other awesome WTF Fridays from the past. I mean, he just did one a couple weeks ago. And check those out as well. You can find them all on our YouTube channel. And there's been, how many Lego builds have you done now? 3, 4?
Yeah, 3 or 4. Yeah. This is the only the second time I've done like actual Lego. Usually it's a fan build or something, but this set was just so cool. I have to build it. It's
Star Wieners,
like tempting me. Yeah, Star Wieners.
And
like that Razor Crest. That's not Lego.
You illegal bastard, you. So
I mean, it's plastic building bricks, and someone else came up with how to put them together. That's what it is.
And what set are you building on Friday again? Which Indiana Jones?
Filibuster for a second, and I'll be right back with it.
Okay. What am I supposed to filibuster about, you dumbass? I guess it's my fault.
Outro. Just do the outro, stupid.
Oh, that's true. I could. Well, all right. Well, sweet. So anyways, thank you guys once again for tuning into another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. We will be right back here in 2 weeks. The date will be Wednesday, December 20th. And there is the Raiders of the Lost Ark set. Oh my God, I want that. Oh my God, that's so cool. Hold it back up. I'll put you in solo there. I'll put you in Han Solo layout. Look at that. Oh, that is so tight. Oh, so Temple of the Golden Idol is called. Okay, I know that one. And it all works, right? Correct? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's got gimmicks all the way across.
That's badass. All right, well, so there you go. AJ will be building that set on Friday night, so make sure you check that out. But, yeah, guys, thanks again for tuning in to another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. We'll be right back here in 2 weeks on Wednesday, December 20th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at all of our fine locations, the YouTube channel and Facebook page of both the Nerf Herder Council and the Virtual Cantina Network. Again, if you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to click that like button, click that subscribe button, and smash the notification bell so that you get notified every time we go live. We are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download. I do have a listen that I would recommend right now since you do get it for free. If you are into music, especially Rush, I am listening to Geddy Lee's new audiobook, his autobiography, My Effin' Life, and it is awesome. So check that out. You can get it for free if you go to audible.com. And as always, if you would like to get customizable Nerf Herder Council swag, for example, your very own Chewbacca, Mala, Itchy, Lumpy, Rashy, Discharge, and Crappy shirt coming soon, just go to shop.nerfherdercouncil.com. If you would like to get Virtual Cantina Network gear, just go to tpublic.com/user/virtual Cantina. And guys, we appreciate all you in the chat hanging out tonight. Sean Hines, Kale McLeish, Chris Aiken, Mimar, Discuss Metal Joe. Thank you guys very much. The Legionnaire Podcast. Always great to see you guys. You guys make the show go. The conversation was awesome. Sorry for our laughing fits, but for those of you who are not as familiar with the show as other people, that's kind of what we do. We get a little silly from time to time. We don't take it very seriously, and neither should you. So one final plug. Make sure to go check out A Disturbance in the Force. It is a fantastic new documentary that has been released regarding the making of the 1978 Star Wars Holiday Special. Again, I rented it on Amazon Prime. AJ found it on Apple TV. So we'll see you guys in 2 weeks on Wednesday, December 20th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, I am your host, JT, at Dog Pound Jedi. He is AJ.
At Drake Adams 579.
And we will catch you guys next time.